What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Adam Kownacki versus Ali Eren Demirezen, and this was a 10-rounder in the heavyweight division. And this fight was Saturday, July 30th from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And this fight was broadcasted on Showtime. And in this fight, Ali Eren Demirezen was able to get a unanimous decision victory over Adam Kownacki. So I personally scored this bout 96-94 in favor of Ali Eren Demirezen, and the three judges scored this bout 96-94, agreeing with my score, and then the other two judges scored it 97-93, all in favor of Demirezen. So I think anywhere from 97-93 and 96-94 are acceptable scores. I think any closer or any wider is a bad score, because the rounds that Kownacki won were clear cut. He definitely won 3 rounds. You could have given the fourth, or obviously not the fourth round of the fight, but a fourth round. Which I did, but definitely could see either 6-4 or 7-3. That's it. No funny business. I mean, those are the scores. And then the judges 100% got this fight right. But this was a very, very good fight. They threw like 1,700 punches. Very solid. So just to break it down, the first 2 rounds were clear-cut, big rounds for Adam Kownacki. He definitely won the first 2 rounds, no question. He was coming forward on Demirezen. He threw hundreds of punches in those first 2 rounds and was able to back up Demirezen and easily win both of them clearly. But then rounds 3, 4, 5, even maybe 6. I just gave Kownacki the 6th, but I mean almost every other round. But for rounds 3, 4, and 5, they were clear rounds for Demirezen. He started to back up Kownacki. Kownacki seemingly got a bit tired, even though before the Helenius fights, we've never saw that from him, where he gets tired when he's throwing all those punches. Like when we saw him fight Areola, he just kept coming. But here, he did not, and after those first 2 rounds, he seemingly got gassed, and in rounds 3, 4, and 5, he was getting hit with big shots. Yeah, and he lost those rounds very clearly, and his eyes started to swell in those rounds. But then around 6, I mean, Kownacki started to box a bit on the outside, and he actually was able to touch Demirezen with some nice 1-2s, and that's why I gave him the round, because he boxed pretty well, considering that he's a come-forward fighter for the first minute and a half. But then round 7, that was a very big round for Demirezen. He was able to land big shots on Kownacki, back him up. And the thing is, Kownacki was, even though he's normally known as a come-forward pressure fighter, even when he's hurt, here, I mean, I've never seen this before from him. He was just sitting on the ropes like a sitting duck, just getting hammered with shots. But then after the 7th round, the 8th round was actually a very clear round for Kownacki. He was able to pressure Demirezen into the ropes and land big shots on him in the corner, and he looked pretty good that round. But then rounds 9 and 10 were big rounds for Demirezen. Round 9, Kownacki looked absolutely gassed, and when I say gassed, I mean gassed. He wasn't throwing any punches. Like I said, I'll go back to that phrase, like a sitting duck. That was Kownacki. He was just sitting there, getting hammered with shots on the ropes, and those were not, or that was not a good round for him, that 9th round. The 10th round was a very fun round. It reminded me of when Kownacki fought Charles Martin, when they both were just exchanging in the center of the ring that round. And, I mean, that's exactly what happened here. But Demirezen, at least he has some head movement, so he was able to get out of the way of Kownacki's shots and land big counters of his own. And towards the end of that round, he was able to land a big right hand on Kownacki that sort of buckled him and wobbled him against the ropes. But then he landed sort of a backwards fist shot right when he hurt Kownacki, and the referee had to break up the action and admonish Demirezen with a warning. But yeah, both of them were exchanging a lot in that 10th round. It was a very fun round, but definitely Demirezen's round. So yeah, I mean, Ali Eren Demirezen is coming off 2 very strong wins in 2022. Although he had that Kevin Johnson fight in between. I mean, he knocked out Gerald Washington, and now he defeated Adam Kownacki. So he's got 2 very good wins in 2022. And this goes into the question, what is next for him? I mean, he's definitely propelled himself inside at least the top 20 in the heavyweight division. Maybe even the top 16, top 18, somewhere around there. He's normally fights his biggest fights for PBC. He fights some fights back in Germany, but obviously they're not that big. But, I mean, if he fights in Germany in his next fight, maybe he could take on Manuel Char. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have the same manager, but maybe it could still happen. That'd be a very, very fun fight. I'd definitely be intrigued for that one. Maybe Manuel Char is an option, but when it comes to PBC and fighting in America, maybe he could take on the likes of Robert Helenius. Maybe he could take on Charles Martin. someone like that, like someone in the PBC stable that's a very solid guy that could give him a tough test that he might lose to. But yeah, definitely a big fight is next in line for Ali Eren Demirezen, coming off 2 big wins in 2022 here. He might take a break till 2023, where he might have a sort of easy fight in Germany, just like that Kevin Johnson fight, just an easy, stay busy fight. He could have one of those before fighting again on PBC, but overall, this was a strong performance for him. But as for Adam Kownacki, losing here for the 3rd straight time, another tough loss where he took a lot of punches. I think he's done. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think he's going to retire. I mean, for Kownacki, I just can't see him fighting like lower ranked guys and then building himself back up. I just can't see it. I think he's done. I mean, ever since the Helenius loss, or both the Helenius losses, and then this one, I mean, he showed that, I mean, he doesn't really have what it takes to even beat, I'm going to be honest, I don't think he could beat some guys that are inside the top 30. I mean, although he made this fight pretty close and competitive, it's just because of his style. If he faces some of these other heavyweights that are 6'6" that could fight on the outside, I mean, he's going to get tagged, he's going to get stopped, I mean, he's going to get dropped, or he's just going to lose a decision like this, and he's going to gas. I mean, he said something to the Showtime, I guess you could say, commentators, interviewers, whatever. But one of the commentators was bringing up a quote that Kownacki said he said that if he loses this fight, he loses everything. And I think that's referring to that he's done, that he's just gonna stop his career. I mean, he loses everything if he loses this fight, because at least losing to Robert Helenius is like not as bad as losing to Demirezen. I'm gonna be 100% honest. At least Helenius was a big name going into the fight. Although he had that loss to Washington, he was still a big name. I mean, Demirezen's really relatively unknown in the sort of mainstream boxing world. I know Helenius wasn't the biggest name because he only had, or going into the fight, obviously wasn't the most popular name. But still, I mean, at least a lot of people knew him from his days fighting Chisora in 2010 and whatnot. And he was still a respectable name. But Demirezen, a lot of people don't really know who he is. Even though he had that win over Washington, this is a tough loss. I think Kownacki is going to retire, and I think he's done. But he had a lot of fun fights. Gave me a lot of oohs and ahs when I would watch him fight. Very fun fighter he is, but I think he's going to hang up the gloves. He's taken a lot of punishment in his career. So overall, Ali Eren Demirezen defeats Adam Kownacki by unanimous decision in a very, very fun heavyweight brawl. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.